Ineos boss Sir Jim Ratcliffe has set tough new rules for the next Manchester United manager. Will Erik Ten Hag swallow humble pie, play by the rules, and stay to steer the rebuild of the biggest football club in the world, or will his ego get the better of him and opt to move away? My name is Webb. Like, share, and subscribe as we get into this morning update concerning what's happening from this season review by Ineos. By the way, the Glazers too are involved in it. Well, let's get into it. My name is Webb. Now, we do know that Erik Ten Hag is facing a difficult time for himself. First of all, I don't think there is a more difficult time than being there without knowing exactly what's going to happen to your job. I think that uncertainty is not good for anyone. The only hope that Erik Ten Hag will have is in social media. If someone's feeding him what's happening on social media, if he's seeing it, the backing is getting from the Man United supporters. That's the only energy he will be having. But there has been a few days now of a season review between Ineos and Erik Ten Hag, and it is said this has been reported by the Sun as an exclusive. They are saying that Ineos have put together a set of new rules, and I think honestly they shouldn't surprise you, and this is why I think they could be true. I said it here before that my thinking is Ineos, to try and force Erik Ten Hag through, are going to creatively put together conditions that might be difficult for him to accept given what he has been used to doing as a manager. They might take away most of his powers, and a powerless manager is really no manager. He's a head coach. So, and that's exactly what Ineos seem to want to do. But also, you don't bring all these people for nothing for you to stay with the same structure. This is the change of structure, the real change of structure, and what it means. So, for those of you who are asking, what does the technical director do? What does the CEO do? And what have you? This is now the real role explained in for the technical director and, of course, the new structure. So, here are the new rules. First of all, there will be no Galacticos signed at Manchester United. This business of saying Man United should only have world-class players who you can call the Galacticos. That's why Sir Jim came out way before when it was said that Kylian Mbappe was moving away from PSG. And Sir Jim said they were asking him whether there's a possibility that Man United would snatch Real Madrid's attempt to sign Kylian Mbappe. He said, no, 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 no. We will look to make the Kylian Mbappes. So they are saying no more signing Galacticos because, I mean, you think about it. First of all, there's no money to sign them. Two, we've done it before. We have done it before several times, but it has yielded nothing. The Galacticos, I think, how many players? I think when Bruno Fernandes was signed, he wasn't a Galactico, was he? He wasn't. I think he's the only one player who performed. Casemiro performed for one season. Most of the other so-called Galacticos have not performed at all. So does it shock you that that is a resolution they're coming up with? I don't think it does. Two, the age limit of new signings should be 25 years, meaning you don't sign a player older than 25. Now, that is first of all to give room for players to be developed and be turned into the world class players or the so-called Galacticos, then sell them because that's part of the strategy of Ineos to make money through the footballing department. Because in the past years, Manchester United has not been making money through sale of players. They have not been making any profits. They have been spending but making money from everywhere else but the players. They have been stuck with players on long contracts, earning a lot of money, bought for a lot of money, but they were not selling. So in terms of business, the football side of the team, the real football on the pitch, the players themselves was not making money. So they are saying sign them at 25, improve them, and when they are 28 or thereabout, perhaps sell them for a little more. Or when they are younger than that, if they are 20, 22, 19, players like Joao Neves that we have been linked with are 19. So they are saying we want young players, develop them, and sell them at a profit. That is the second role that Ineos is coming up with. Now, we know that Erik Ten Hag has been saying that he needed world class players. He needed a certain level of players when he came in. Well, I think now some of those players might have to change if he's going to stay. Now, number three is the style of play will be set by the technical director. I think I've been explaining that it is the technical director and Dan Ashworth, who I think will be titled the sporting director, if that position will still be there. So those two will be the ones to put together the style of play of the team, and then they will guide the manager into fitting into that style. So first of all, they will look for a manager who they believe can fit into that style of football that they want to play. So that's now making the job of the technical director relevant. Before, there has not been that. Before, it is like the manager has been bringing his own style. That's why you see we played different with David Moyes, different with Louis Van Gaal, played different with Jose Mourinho, played different with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Then we came to Ralf Rangnick's Jurgen style. That's different. Then Erik Ten Hag brings his own. Now they are saying the technical director will now work together with his team, put together a style of play, and get a manager who will fit into it and stick to it. Number 4, which I think is very important, when it gets to the transfer business, that the manager is going to be asked what positions he would love to sign players in, not which players he would love to sign. Mark that. Like Manchester United right now needs a holding midfielder, needs a centre back or two, needs a left back, needs a striker. We can clearly see that. So they will ask the manager, boss, which positions do you need to be boosted in the next transfer window? And the manager will say, I need centre backs, strikers, I need holding midfielders. He justifies and explains his reasons. These are the positions. Now, the manager will first then have to wait. The scouting team will work together with the technical director to come up with 3 players who can suit into the playing style that has been defined by the technical director and his team. Then come up with a list of 3 and give them to the manager. Then he will choose one. They will go for that one. That's now how that now that will be the role of the manager when it comes to transfers. Now it shows you that they have now sort of undermined his role in terms of transfers, because you can come up with a list of 3, but none of them is the kind of player I would have wanted. But you've got to choose from those 3 that they have given you, choose your best option. Then when you decide, now they go into, because by the time they come up with the 3, they will have already researched about what price with the CEO, how much it would cost, what it would take to get them, whether they have the money to get them. So they give you a list of 3 and you say, I want this one. The Frank de Jong is who I want. Okay, it's Frank de Jong you want. Then they say we can afford to buy Frank de Jong. Then they go for Frank de Jong. So that's how things are going to be working going forward, which I think is the part where certain managers will fall off, because certain managers want a certain level of involvement, especially if you've earned your right in a way like Erik Ten Hag would feel. If you've been handling things, you've been dictating things to a level, it feels like you're being now, I think, demoted in a way. If most of those powers are taken away and you just have to wait and choose from a list that has been given to you, it's a bit different. Now, so that's exactly how transfers are going to be carried on. Now, what are the odds that exactly what I've defined here is now it shows you exactly that there's not going to be a manager per se. Yeah, there's going to be a head coach now going forward. That's exactly what I think I've defined. Now, what are the odds that someone who has been a boss at Utrecht, has been a boss at Ajax, came in as a boss at Manchester United, highly revered as a manager in football, is going to take those conditions and say, you know what, I'll work under a former guy, former Southampton chief and just come and be a head coach, let them bring players for me. But when it doesn't work, I'll be the first to be kicked out. Certain managers won't accept that. It is believed to be the same reason why Mauricio Pochettino, just after 1 year, left Chelsea. They were trying to change the structure into something like that and undermine his role in dealing with transfers, which, well, certain managers won't swallow. But if Erik Ten Hag swallowed humble pie and is able to abide by these rules, then chances are he will stay for some period before Ineos choose to move on in case it doesn't work. So that's where we are. And I'll tell you, first of all, it doesn't surprise me. I've been consistently saying this. I think I've attempted to explain this before. I think it's a new way of doing things, honestly, that, this is, again, the whole point. They paid billions of pounds for a small percentage of the team to change something about the team, because it wouldn't make sense for Ineos to come in, spend all that money, bring on in all these people, but still leave everything to the manager to deal. So it's now upon the manager to accept or refuse, and then Ineos will come up with a decision. Trust you me, in just a few days, we will be getting a decision on Erik Ten Hag and his job, because it is believed that he has actually demanded that they quicken the process of giving him a decision on his job, because there are other clubs that want him. He's running out of patience, and he wants to go into this off-season properly, knowing whether he will be manager of Man United or his team should look for another club, and he will plan, because he's not about to take a rest. He wants to keep going, and he needs to have time, because all the big teams perhaps are being, taken away so fast, so fast. So that's exactly what's going on with Erik Ten Hag, Ineos, and the current updates coming through from Carrington. My name is Webb. This is the United of Sport. Give me your opinions about that structure and whether you think it is for the good, it will improve the team or not. Subscribe, share, and like this video. I'll catch you later.